What's good, y'all? It's your boy Black G92. Now, tonight, go ahead and kick off the second annual 31 Days of Halloween series that began last October of 2019. And the video I'm going to react to is titled Top 10 Recent Horror Anime That Will Shake You to the Core. And with a title like that, I'm expecting to see some disturbing, bloody, and all the things that goes into like an anime that's horror themed. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna see what this countdown look like. About 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back, everybody, to your internet anime licensed funny man. My name is Misty Sloshkins, and if you came in for some October spooks, I got you. With the top 10 recent anime horror every year around October, I kind of dedicate the month to that. I've been doing it for several years, so Papa kind of ran out of topics. So I put a spin on it, like a bottle in middle school in front of 8 awkward teens, only taking anime from the past 3 years. These are all anime I never covered before, so if you've been watching my list for a while, it should still be fresh content. So hit that like, ring a ding ding that bell, and let's get on with it. Should probably made a spookier opening, but it is what it is, and we're gonna roll with that. Because they call me One Take Misty, and I don't do no seconds. Number 10, Doreiku, the animation. Doreiku is not your traditional horror story, but I feel it still fits this list's purpose. On paper, this anime has a really cool premise. Several people receive a slave control method, which is a tiny mouth retainer that can turn people into slaves. Don't look into it, it doesn't make sense. There's no science here. You play a game of any kind against another person with the SCM, and whoever loses becomes a slave to the winner. So it's basically a psychological drama where the characters must outwit the other players. The anime suffers from having too many characters at once, and none of which get enough character development. The manga counterpart is full of plot holes, so it's hard for the anime to stand on its own. It's the definition of an edgy anime, but the bad kind. The premise is super interesting, but the execution missed the mark by a landslide. Overall, I don't know. I still wanted to talk about it because it's recent and it's still kind of interesting. That's why it's number 10. You gotta start somewhere.
Yeah, I suppose. I'm definitely interested in seeing this title.
Number 9, Mahou Shoujo Side. Speaking of edgy anime, I have to finally talk about Shoujo Side. The anime follows a teenage girl who gets bullied a lot at school and is abused by her older brother at home. When she starts to contemplate suicide, she receives a message on her computer about the Mahou Shoujo site, a website that turns girls into magical girls. She kind of dismisses it at first, but she finds a magical girl in her shoes locker the next morning and uses it against her bully. Dad does teleport them in front of a train and makes some sweet pizza sauce. After that, she teams up with another girl who can stop time, and overall, it's just a worse Madoka Magica. I mean, they've done 1,000 by now, but if you do love that dark magical theme, this might scratch the itch. However, I do recommend you to hold on to that thought until the end of the video, because I might have something better for you instead. I don't know, just put it in a drawer somewhere in your brain and get back to it if you have everything.
Yeah. I dig in his little commentary on these two titles, saying like, "Oh, they may not be as good with the woo," and especially on this one, it's like, "Hey, hold off, may have some better later on in the countdown." So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what the titles are gonna mention, and plus, this is all like new anime I have yet to come across yet. So who knows? I don't know if I'm gonna have enough time to catch up to all of them because I got other titles to check out. So we'll see.
Covered.
朝霧さん、あなたが必要なの。私を殺して。
Number 8, Angels of Death. That was oddly ominous. Now we entered titles that I can personally say have something nice to offer. Angel of Death is a story based on an RPG Maker game, and it's about a young girl who wakes up in the basement of a strange building. On every floor is a murderer set to kill her, and she must escape. Only problem is she only wants to die, so that doesn't make for a fun game. The murderer in the first floor team up with her so he can escape this hellhole, and promise to kill her once they reach the exit together. If you enjoy dark thriller, this is probably one of the best RPG Maker rated game around, and the anime did a really good recreation of it. The only thing that I felt was off-putting was the fact that the first murderer is voiced by the same seiyuu that does Bakugo in My Hero Academia, and I just can't unhear it every time he speaks.
ごめんなさい。
Interesting.
心に決めた人がいるので。
A number 7? Happy Sugar Life. Despite the very joyous title,
Yeah.
this anime is anything but that. Happy Sugar Life starts off with a sweet young girl who tries her best to get by. She tries to provide for her first love that stays at home while attending school and working a part-time job that's incredibly demeaning. People treat her like a slut. The staff bullies her, the manager is a massive coont, but she's so in love with her soulmate that she takes it all with a smile. In the butt. Or so it is what it seems to be like on the surface, when deep down she's a straight maniacal sociopath who would do anything to keep her beloved safe. I've been walking on eggshell in this description to not spoil you anything, but the first episode will make you go, holy shit, what the fuck am I getting myself into?
Based on the description alone, I'm looking forward to being surprised if I ever get across watching this series. And plus the title gives kind of doesn't hint at anything like sinister either, so I'm looking to be surprised.
That's the best shout out I can give this anime.
だからできますよ。
Number 6, Magical Girl Raising Project. Remember when I told you hold that thought about Mahou Shoujo site? Well, it's because I think Magical Girl Raising Project is the everything site is, but better. The story is about a city where magical girls are raised to fight against other girls. The dream is to become one of those magical girls to take part of the game until you actually get involved yourself and realize this is a lot more than what you bargained for. This is a survival anime where each girl needs to get the most...
You already know the story, so ain't no point of even bringing that bullshit up when it comes to my MacBook. Always run out of space already with 2 fucking videos. Let's get back to it.
To fight against other girls. The dream is to become one of those magical girls to take part of the game until you actually get involved yourself and realize this is a lot more than what you bargained for. This is a survival anime where each girl needs to get the most candies, and the one that are at the bottom of the food chain loses their power. You can't see me, but I'm using air quotes. This kind of anime is a guilty pleasure for me, so I may be favoring it for undeserved reasons. But if you like Danganronpa, Mirai Nikki, or Selector Infected Wheatcross, this is a good mesh of what is Magical Girl Raising Project. I think you're gonna have a good time with it.
スノーホワイト。
Looking forward to
よろ
it.
しくお願いし
Look
ます。
forward to checking
起
out
き
that.
てる？
Gotta get these damn commercials.
Voting by mail is as easy as counting to
Ah,
4. Request your
I
ballot.
don't give a shit.
Watch your mailbox.
but do go out and vote.
向着无尽的黑暗，不停地坠落。
Number 5, Uncharted Walker. If you came looking for the thumbnail, this is the anime that will interest you the most because it's very unlikely you've seen it. Also, I should probably preface this by saying it's a Chinese anime. Not like this aspect should matter to 90% of you, since reading subtitles for one language you don't understand or another, it's kind of the same deal. Anyway, the story is about a random group of people who wakes up on an uncharted island. And they find themselves in the middle of primitive tribes, a deadly virus, and people dying left and right. They have to find a way to survive and escape said island. Just like Doreiku, this isn't a title properly labeled with the horror tag, but I feel the mystery, psychological thriller, and the ambience itself kind of makes it war in this spot anyway. Give it a shot, you got nothing to lose, and it's actually a really good anime anyway. So you should actually be thanking me. You're welcome. Number 4, Ajin. Out of every title on this list, Ajin is probably the one I've praised out on the most occasion. Despite the visual being in 3D, the show actually offers some really solid writing and interesting characters. The story is about people that are being identified as Ajins, special humans that are immortal. These people with the potential of putting society into chaos. Because again, immortality kind of give you a get out of jail free pass card on everything.
Basically.
Gonna rob a bank? What you gonna do? Shoot me? Yeah, let's see how that goes. Oh yeah, they're being hunted down to be put in custody before they decide to become evil. The story is about Kei, a medical student who finds himself as an Ajin and therefore is on a big escape. 2 seasons available right now. Well worth the time, especially if you got a Netflix account. Not sponsored, but it's available on there. So,
Oh, it is.
I don't know.
Well,
Try it.
we'll definitely check
Everyone's
that one
got
out, man.
Netflix, eh?
Of course. That's the most popular streaming site there is. Oh, damn. Just walk through a stab.
Number 3, Cabaneri of the Harren Fortress. Ever wonder what if the guys that did Attack on Titan made a show about zombies on train? No, of course not. Why would you? In terms of ambience, I would say this is the perfect match between Attack on Titan, God Eater, and Tokyo Ghoul. The story is about a group of people living in a fortified fortress where the only way in and out is via big-ass choo-choos. Meanwhile, you got zombies, although technically called Kabane, that swarms the place. The only way to Rick Grimes those zombies is to pierce their steel-coated heart, and Ikoma, the main character, is the one with a weapon to do the job. They kinda did a Madoka Magica on this one, meaning you can watch the full series or take on the movie trilogy. Movie 1 and 2 kinda catch you up to speed with the story, and number 3 is the proper sequel. Very interesting one.
輪廻の家宝があら
I'm
んこと
definitely going to check this out. So it's made by this. I can definitely tell this is made by the same people that made Attack on Titan. If you haven't checked that one out, that show is amazing. I saw the first season recently. I still have to check out the other 2.
くそ
I've heard about
なん
this
で
one.
だ
Number 2, Devilman Crybaby. This one is kind of religious. I mean, not go to church, sinners, heavy, but the subtext and biblical reference is what makes most of the depth of this anime. The polarity between right and wrong and all the morality philosophy you can dream of. It's a Karl Marx's wet dream. If you want a horror story that gets your gear turning, I can't recommend a better one than Devilman Crybaby. The Netflix adaptation is actually a reboot from an anime of the 70s. I remember making a video entirely dedicated to this reboot, praising its avant-garde mindset, but I also understand it's not your run-of-the-mill anime that you just jump in to enjoy while you do your daily quest on that game on mobile that you play. You know the one. Don't make me say it. Pokemon Masters.
Promising.
これ何
And finally, number 1, Promise to Neverland. This is an anime that came out earlier this year and it blew everyone's mind, including my own. The story follows a group of young orphans studying and learning to become smart enough to be adopted and go on living off away from the orphanage. Or so is the lie that they are being fed, until one day they realize they're the one being fed. Next begins a giant game of cat and mouse so the kids can jailbreak away from this imminent treacherous plot. I'm not going to tell you what it is actually that happens, because it's fun to discover that on your own. But again, I wouldn't do my job if I misled you and said this was all gumdrops and rainbow. This is a horror list, and this tag obviously would fit the number 1 slot, so I mean, you're not dumb. This anime is highly praised by everyone, and deservedly so. Try it out if you haven't seen it so far. If this anime had an ass, it would be so fine. This is the weirdest metaphor I could end on.
Yeah.
But I'm one take mister, so that's how it's gonna wrap up.
Oh. Talk about 360.
Oh, you're still here? I mean, I can't blame you if you just went ahead and hid under your blanket, because it's too scary. This is what you get. I am a professional after all. You knew what you were getting yourself into when you click on that video. If you've seen all of these, then flex on me with a like. But if you haven't, you gotta subscribe. That's the rule according to the YouTube guidebook. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a spectacular Halloween. Lots of candies if you're a kid, lots of titties if you're an adult. I don't know. Be on the lookout for my next video. It's gonna come out soon. It's gonna be more spooksters. So this may be a late disclaimer, but yes, I do have a shitty voice because I got a cold. I'm glad you noticed.
And that was the top 10 recent horror anime that will shake you to your core. Very interesting countdown, I'll add. And dude, Misty Chronexia, I mean, had no idea he's gonna do the whole voiceover thing, but you definitely knows what he's talking about when it comes to putting his list together. So based on what the first blind reaction to this, I definitely picked it up immediately. And also the first 5, like the last 5 that was on the list are, I mean, for a fact, the highlights. I mean, based on how he describes them. So, like, a lot of interesting titles. Some I've never heard of before. One of them, A Chin and well, actually, I'm gonna take that back. A Chin and Devil May Cry, maybe I heard about. I just haven't got around to checking them out yet. But there'll be a lot of anime titles that I may check out in the future and see if they live up to the title based on dude's description. So, when we do more countdowns like these, be sure to put them in the comment section below. As usual, if this is your first time, be sure to put a comment in the same comment section, as well as like and subscribe to the channel. Gonna have a lot more on the way, and I'm gonna do like 1 or 2 videos like every other day during this month of October that fit the whole theme of like Halloween, and like go have 1 regular video, 1 horror themed video, countdown type shit. It's gonna be random. Most of my handpicked myself, other ones are reaction requests. So stay tuned, and be sure to follow me in my social media accounts in the description box below. I stay active on Instagram and Twitter, which I have taken a break from. Matter of fact, I took a break from all that social media shit. The only thing you probably gonna see on there is me sharing this video and shit. So this is Black G92 about to sign off. Holla at your boy. Peace. Oh, and P.S. I might have another video dropping sometime tonight, so stay tuned.